Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, the Two Opinionated podcast could really use your help. And it's easy, it's free. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, imdb.com, named us a top 100 podcast. We came in at number 82. That's a big deal because there's 15 million podcasts and growing. So to be named to anybody's top 100 list, pretty big deal for us. And the way you can help is to go to imdb.com, look up the Two Opinionated podcast, and that's it. Just bringing our page up. That traffic really helps us out. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. All we ask is that you subscribe. It's also free, but that really helps us to attract these amazing guests that we keep bringing on the program. And that's it. Two easy ways for you to support us, and we would really appreciate the help. Now let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Two Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got composer, musician, Dr. Dave with me. So welcome, Dr. Dave.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You know, I need a fancy title like that. That's what I'm missing. I need to, need a little gravitas to my name.
They come in handy. Simple nicknames are easy to remember for the general public than your legal name. So that was one of the reasons for having.
Yeah, Dr. I like that.
It was actually a nickname that was given, so I just kept it.
I remember you from back in the, I don't know, it's probably late 80s or the 90s, some of the music you were putting out.
That's right. Well, I'm flattered that you remember. Once in a while, I run into people that do remember me from the mid 90s to the late 90s.
Yeah. Well, I was a new dad around the mid 90s, and I tended to listen to that genre of music. And you had the I Like It Like That one.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great song.
Well, that was produced by Carl Evans of the Fatburger Band, and I actually used the entire Fatburger Band for that album. And
really?
Then, yeah. They're good. You remember them, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So when Thomas kind of reached out and said, "Hey, I got Dr. Dave," I was like, "I know Dr. Dave. Let's get him on the show."
Yeah, I'm flattered.
Well, so let's start this way. Tell us a little bit about what got you started in music. That's a difficult profession to kind of make a career out of. What got you into it?
Well, I've been playing ever since I was a child, and I was playing mostly rock and blues. And then I heard George Benson.
Your music reminds me of George Benson. And I was going to ask you if you were influenced at all by him.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
And luckily, I got to meet him, and we sat around and talked for a good hour. He's a really nice man, and he's an incredible player. So it was rewarding for me to sit and chat with somebody I looked up to for so many years. But I heard his playing. A friend of mine told me that he had his album. So I went and listened to the album, and then I was hooked to jazz.
Yeah. Well, I've still got the 45 of, Turn Your Love Around, the George Benson. So I brought that one out the other day and stuck it on the record player to play. I probably hadn't listened to that in 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
It holds up, though. He's still got a pretty good voice.
He's got a great voice, and he still plays great.
He's a great musician. That's great. So, do you play? You play other instruments other than guitar?
I'm a guitarist. I mean, I can communicate on the piano. I can communicate to the pianist a little bit, but knowing
do you use the piano to help you write, or is that you still using guitar for that?
I use guitar.
Yeah. Well, I've always kind of thought it's most musicians have the ability to play about any instrument if they put the time into it. But if you're going to get really good at one, you kind of got to pick.
There are some musicians I've played with. For example, a sax player I played with and a keyboard player I played with. I had no idea they played on their instruments until on a break one day, he picks up my guitar and starts playing. And I was shocked at how accomplished the guitar player he is. Both of them, actually.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I love the music, especially the newer stuff you're doing. It's very horn heavy, and I love that. I love hearing the horns. I've always enjoyed those, and that it gives it kind of that big band kind of feel.
Yes, and that's where the name came in. Was the Housecall Band that I put with Dr. Dave, because a lot of people would ask me if I play with a band, and so the solution to that was I just added Dr. Dave.
Yeah, I think it works well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, it tells you everything you need to know.
That's the idea.
So we've been listening to the Midnight Daydream album. Terrific. I think you put it out. It's been out several years now.
Yeah.
But it's terrific. That's been a fun listen. It got added to our Spotify playlist. We'll be playing it down by the pool this summer.
Good to hear.
It's the Sexy Cindy. We love that one. And I think I read that that was an actual person you were singing about, like Miss Colombia, if I remember right.
Yes, good memory. Actually, if you watch the music video of Sexy Cindy on YouTube, it's Dr. Dave and the Housecall Band, Sexy Cindy, you will see her. She was Miss, I don't know, she was one of the states, Miss something Colombia.
Yeah.
And so she's quite pretty.
Oh, she's very pretty. Yeah. Yeah. She's an attractive woman.
Fun video.
What was she just the inspiration for the song, or did you have the idea for the song and then kind of picked her to write it about?
She was the inspiration for the song. After I met her, I was planning on doing a song, and I met her, and then she kind of inspired me to write Sexy Cindy. So that's it. It actually was one of those things that just happened. I only wrote the song in like 5 minutes.
Really?
After meeting her, yeah.
Is that normal to write that fast, or were you just that inspired?
It is not abnormal. Sometimes it takes a couple of months to write a tune, and sometimes it takes 5 minutes.
Yeah, my stepson's a musician, and he does a lot of his own music, and he does the because he'll play about any instrument and then just kind of layers them on top of each other with that. And he says the same thing. Sometimes it comes to him so fast, it's just a couple minutes. Other times he work on it for months before it comes.
That's right.
Finished. Yeah.
And sometimes the song, for example, there was an album I put out, speaking of the mid-90s, called Smooth. And one of the songs on that album was Dave's Groove. And literally the engineer during the beginning of the recording session asked us to play something just to check his board and his sound,
Yeah.
And so we just made something up. And then when he was done, he said, okay, he's got it. Do you want to hear it? We listened to it. Sounded good to me. I said, put it on the album.
Heck yeah. So you just made that one up on the spot, basically.
Yes, that was completely and absolutely spontaneous. Larry Logan started playing Larry Logan's a co-writer of that tune as because he's the one that started playing the chords, and I made up a melody line, and we all just started playing, and we didn't change a thing. We left it alone. And when I was flying one time on one of the airlines, I think it was American Airlines, all of a sudden on their jazz music, that you listen to as you're flying, came on Dave's Groove.
Oh my gosh. That's you hear about back in the 50s and 60s when an artist got their record played on the radio and they got to kind of hear it for the first time. That would kind of be like that. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that was fun. And I also
did you let people know that was your song?
No, I was by myself.
Yeah. I'd have been like, that's me.
I did get a call from a fellow musician and an ex-girlfriend up in San Francisco, actually, that called me and said, "Hey, we just heard Dave's Groove as we were traveling."
Well, it is a catchy song. That's pretty
Yeah.
good. That's pretty good. Yeah, that I always wonder where, stores or airlines, places get their music that they play in the background, but they grabbed yours.
That has to do with distribution. It isn't just by chance they got it.
Yeah, right.
There's the distribution people that
Did their job.
make sure that the music is distributed to all the radio stations in the world now. So it's just up to them to choose whatever they want. There's such a huge selection now.
You did it hadn't been too long ago, you did some compilation albums. Maybe some of the earlier stuff, maybe. Does that sound right?
Yes. What I did is I took all the up-tempo tunes and I put them on one album. And then I took all of the slow romantic tunes and I put them on another one. And the slow romantic tunes, I called that Love Potion.
Yeah. That's the one we were listening to, was Love Potion. That was pretty good.
Thank you.
That was a good, good date night album. Put that on, while you're having a romantic evening.
That's exactly what it was designed for. It was designed for that glass of wine sitting by the fireplace or by the ocean when you're with your lover and you have that in the background. Yeah.
It was pretty great. We were working, getting the yard ready for, as you do this time of year. We were working out there all day, and then at the end of the day, we sat down and had margaritas at the pool and listened to your music. It was pretty great.
That's very flattering. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was pretty great. Let's see, the new one is that reserved for Abby?
Yes.
Tell me about that one. What's that song about? What inspired you to write that one?
Well, actually, that was also inspired by another woman. Somebody, when I was touring, I was traveling, and in one of the cities I was in, I met this woman named Abby.
Yeah.
And hit it off, and I had to leave. I couldn't stay too long, so I thought the best way to invite her to California was just to write a song for her. So that's what I did.
I love that. Did that work?
It did.
All right. That's a move that I would never have been able to make. Be like, hey, I wrote you a song. Come on over.
Yeah.
No, it's a terrific song, though. It's pretty good. That's a pretty good date night song too.
Oh, it's a great song. I actually had the great world-renowned saxophone player Ronnie Laws.
Oh, I meant to mention him. I love his saxophone playing, and he's terrific on this song, as he always is. How did that pairing come about?
How did I get Ronnie Laws? Ronnie Laws was doing a concert in town, and with my connections, of course, I went down and got backstage and ended up engaging in a conversation with him and about doing some studio work since he was out here already. He liked the idea, and the next day we went to the studio and recorded the tune. He and his brother, actually, you probably are aware of his famous brother, who most people consider the greatest jazz flautist in the world, which is Hubert Laws.
Yeah. Did he showed up with him?
He not only showed up, but he did some recording work also. He's on another song on the album. What was the name of that song? That is I Hold My Pillow.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's pretty great. You got 2 for 1 with that.
Yes, I did. Yeah, we got very lucky that day.
Do you get together with friends on occasion and just jam? Just have just play around?
No, I don't. It's work. Once in a while, I might be in a club somewhere just for fun.
Yeah.
And I'll send the musicians that I've either done some studio work with or played with years ago, and they'll see me and they'll invite me up to play a tune or play a few songs with them, and I'll do that.
Yeah.
But the rest of it is pretty much work. It's business.
Yeah. Well, I think that's okay. Yeah, I think we all have those kind of uh, passions that sometimes they're personal, sometimes they're work related. I get that.
Yeah, that's right.
Um, so reserved for Abby. I like this one because my I'm in the grandparent stage now, so I'm a pawpaw. Well, my wife, her father was Mexican, and she wanted to use abuela as her title for the grandkids. Well, none of them could say that, and it just got shortened to Abby. So
I think
now
say,
we've got five, and all of them just they call her Abby now. And I think it's the best thing.
oh, good, good, good. Yeah, I think you meant the abuela, which is
That's exactly what I meant. Yes, my horrible accent. I butchered it, but yes,
I
and
speak a, I speak a little Spanish. So.
yeah. It's such a lovely language. And when she says it, I'm like, "Ooh, I should." You think we've been together 20 years? You think it would rub off on me? It has not. But but love that they call her Abby. I get a kick out of that. Well, I like that. Although she spells it Abby with a Y, not an IE.
In writing the song, it was brought to my attention that there are different spellings. So
yeah,
I had to make sure I spelled it correctly.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's pretty good. And I'm assuming part of the inspiration was just the fact that there was that distance between the two of you. You had to come back.
And the question is,
well, I was just assuming that was part of the emphasis for the song was just that distance being apart, and you're kind of,
oh yeah,
you're trying to entice her to come in, and it's some longing in the song, and that was kind of the inspiration, I guess, is what I was trying to get at.
You're correct. Yeah, that was my way of saying, come on down to California.
Yeah. But I love that. I think that's
in a poetic way.
Yeah. Well, so what's the plan for the rest of this year? Is it will you still be putting out singles? Is it to complete an album? Kind of where do you go from here now that this single's out?
Well, I'm going to go back in the recording studio and do an album.
Oh, very good. So what's the what's this album the inspiration for it? Is it similar to the others, or is there something different that you're writing about this time?
There's no inspiration per se like there was with Sexy Cindy or Reserved for Abby.
Yeah.
There's just I have songs always going on in my head.
I always wondered that if you can write, if you're a composer, does that music, is it just constantly just running through your mind? Like even when you're trying to relax, is there still music running through there that you're like, yeah, I got to write that down?
The short answer is yes.
Yeah.
Long answer is sometimes it's annoying.
Well, yeah, that was kind of what I was getting at, because I know, even just with this podcast, it's constantly running through my head, either promoting, changing something, trying to make it better. And I'm assuming music would be worse because we've all had songs stuck in our head. But if you're a writer of songs, that stuff's got to be coming through your head just all the time. That would get annoying if you're trying to, like maybe if you're trying to sleep, it's keeping you up.
Yes, that's true. I have had songs keep me up. And the truth of the matter is one of the reasons that I go in the recording studio is to get all these songs out of my head, so I no longer have them going around and not bothering me anymore. So once I get them out, I get the musicians, we play it, and so everybody else can hear what has been going on in my head all this time. Then I can relax and I no longer need to think about it.
Yeah, I kind of like that. So once it's done and it's out there, you can move on.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's not too. That would push you to get the music out, I think. If it's just banging around in your head, I'd be like, I got to get that done.
That's exactly right. There is a sense of relief when I get it out. When the song is complete, I just kind of exhale and say, now everybody else can hear what's going on in my head.
Do you keep a notebook by the bed in case something hits you?
I do keep a guitar in every room of the house in case.
Oh, I like that.
And there have been times when I've actually dreamt a song. I woke up and I wake up in the middle of the night. I play it just so I can remember what it was.
Yeah.
When I wake up the next morning, then I go back to sleep.
See, that's really smart because I've always said I have my best ideas in the middle of the night, but I never remember them by the morning.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I got to remember this tomorrow. And then the next day comes, I'm like, what was that?
Yes. Well, and actually by having the guitar in each room, that solves that problem.
Yeah. That's all I need. Of course, I couldn't do a guitar, but I need something that would help it stick into, in my head a little bit. Cause of course, middle of the night, sometimes you think it's a great idea. And then you wake up next morning, you're like, that's terrible. What was I thinking?
Yeah. I've had that happen. This is funny. Many, many years ago, I used to keep a recorder next to my bed.
Yep.
And the next morning I woke up and there was nothing but gibberish of me. Apparently I was still asleep trying to record something that was going on in my head, but it made no sense at all.
Oh, that's hilarious. There's a Seinfeld episode where he wakes up in the middle of the night and he's thought of a joke and he writes it down. And then he looks at it the next morning. He can't read his handwriting. So the episode's just him going around asking people, what do you think this says? And then at the end of it, he finally figures out what it said. And he's like, that's not funny.
It's a similar thing. That's true.
Oh, shoot. Are you doing any live performances?
I've taken the last 2 years off of performing live.
Yeah, I thought you had. That's why I was kind of curious if you're putting new music out. Will you be, kind of getting back out there?
I haven't. It's a lot of people don't realize how much work it is to do live performing and touring, especially.
Well, especially if you got to travel.
Yeah. And traveling is much harder than it used to be in the old days.
Yeah.
I mean, with all the security and everything you got to go through and the instruments.
That is the truth. Yeah, I bet it is. Yeah, it used to be you just throw it in the bus or the van and hit the road.
Yeah, I actually had a custom one of my favorite guitars to play that I often play when I'm doing a concert. Not so much in the studio, but when I'm doing a concert, is a custom made guitar that I made. I had a string endorsement with Gibson Guitars, so I got one of their guys to work with me.
Oh, very nice. What was the difference in it? Compared to regular guitar?
It's the size that fits in the overhead of all planes. So it's a perfect travel guitar. So I don't have to worry about where it's going or where it is or if somebody picks it up.
Yeah, because you can put it in the overhead. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it worked really well for many years. And it produces an outstanding sound. So I'm very proud of that because I made the neck to fit my hand. And it really is truly my guitar.
Yeah, you should market that. I bet you could sell that to a lot of musicians.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not really a marketing guy.
Get a patent on that. Put that out there. Not that it's easy to get a patent. That's a whole process itself.
For one thing, the guitar is really expensive to make.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure most musicians.
Yeah, it'd be tough to mass produce. Yeah, that's pretty good. When we went through 2020, we went through COVID. Did you use that time wisely? Were you working on music or did you pick up a new skill? What'd you do during our isolation?
COVID was very frustrating for me because Tom Esty, my publicist, who does an outstanding job for me and for whoever else his clients are, he's just outstanding. He got me booked on the Tonight Show because one of the songs I made on that album was called Hey, 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 Hey.
Oh my gosh, we love that. Because of course, we watch the Tonight Show every night, and that's the opening every night.
That's the opening. They hey, 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 and here he is, Jimmy Fallon. Well, so it was doing really well. It was like in the top 15 or 20 on the charts. So that was a good reason to get me on the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to play the song with the Roots. That's when COVID hit. 2 weeks later is when they stopped having live performances. Well, that's when they had to do that. So I missed my opportunity to be on the Tonight Show. So Tom feels fairly secure that that opportunity will come back, maybe just to the fact that we can revisit Hey, 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 Hey.
Yeah, you need to do that. Just, I don't know, change a line or something in there, re-release it.
Yeah, I could play another guitar on it, or
That's
whatever
right.
things I could do. Sure.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. That's such a good song, and it seems like something that the Roots would love to do.
Oh, I think they have a great time. I mean, after all, it's their song.
Yeah,
I come out with actually it's not really a song. They just made it a spot. It's some music to introduce,
that's right.
but I made it into a song. So I think they enjoy that, and I think it'd be fun for everybody, including the Roots.
Yeah, I do too. Because if you watch them on the show, they just have a good time, and they seem to like to kind of play around with stuff. And when guests come on, they look like they're having a great time. I'm sorry we didn't get to see that.
And they're great musicians. Hopefully someday you will.
Yeah, I'm
I'd
gonna
like
cross
to.
my fingers. Well, Thomas will probably get it done. He's probably right.
He, I hope so. I think that is on the Midnight Daydream album. Hey, 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 hey.
It is. I can tell you that we've been listening.
Okay, okay, good. And it's got some great. What I did is I had female vocalists singing the hey, hey, hey part because their voice is so nice, and
Yeah.
it's catchy and it's fun, and
Oh, it's very catchy. It's yeah. That's a really good one. It's let's see. There was no. The other one I think we liked on that one was Cabo Time, maybe.
yes, that I think that's the same album.
Yeah.
John Rekovics, I got to give him a plug. He did the horn arrangements on Hey 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 Hey, and then
Oh,
on Cabo Time I wrote when I was in Cabo.
yeah. I
I was
kind
in
of
Cabo.
assumed that it kind of had that. I was like, he's probably there enjoying a drink on the beach.
I was in Cabo San Lucas, and I had a lot of downtime, and I thought, perfect vibe here to write a song. So I did.
Yeah, I love that. Is there a like when you were growing up, were there guitar players that you listened to or inspired by?
Yes, but before I talk on that, let me say one more thing about Cabo Time.
Yeah, of course.
What I did is I put marimbas in that tune because most people don't realize that the marimba is the national instrument of Mexico. So with that little,
I should know that. I didn't know that.
yeah, most people didn't. Actually, I didn't even know that until we got
Yeah.
in the studio. Somebody shared it. So I got a marimba player in there to finish off the song. As far as you asked me inspirations when I was a kid. Of course, when I was a little kid, I saw some old Elvis Presley movies, and I was, whoa, I want to be like him. So that motivated me to play guitar, even though I was not a great guitarist. But you're a little kid, you don't know that. And then later on, as I become more proficient in the guitar, then I just started copying a lot of blues and rock and roll players,
Yeah.
and little Jimi Hendrix influence, and Led Zeppelin, Jimmy Page.
All the great ones.
And then after that, I heard George Benson, and I got into jazz.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. That the jazz, as I've gotten older, has become my favorite genre. When I was younger, it was a little different, but as I've gotten older, I really enjoy that. It can be very relaxing, but it can also be very upbeat. Which kind of surprised me when I first started listening to jazz. It's pretty great. That's a fun genre.
Yes, once one begins to develop an ear for jazz, you hear the conversations that are going on between the instruments, and it can be exhilarating, romantic, intellectual. It can be seductive. I mean,
Yeah.
Jazz is a series of different instruments communicating with each other and off of each other.
My wife laughs at me because she said that because our entire family's musical except me. I got none of it. So she said I'm finally starting to kind of like my palette's getting a little better because I'm actually able to identify the different instruments And I can hear some of that where it's almost like the instruments are talking to each other, where before I was never able to do that. And I'm not sure what changed. It just all of a sudden, I guess I listened to it long enough, it started to make sense to me.
Well, and not only that, but somebody's got to interview us. And so
That's right. Well, that has helped. I've learned a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has helped. I got a good Led Zeppelin story to tell you. So this is real quick. I back around the late 90s, early 2000s, I was running a Ticketmaster call center. That's where my wife and I met. And I had, at that time, it was before the internet, and we had about 800 sales agents on the floor at one time. And they, people call in and order their tickets because they couldn't do them online. And I had most of those salespeople were high school kids. They were young. And I had this little girl come up to me, and she said, I've got this customer on the line and they want something called Led Zeppelin. Have you ever heard of somebody called Led Zeppelin? I was like, how young are you? Like, yeah.
Personally, I think
they are
the greatest rock band of all time.
Oh, yeah. 100%. And she just didn't know. She's just young.
Well, I my hat's off to her. I give her credit for being young and still exploring the history of.
That's right. That's right. I'm sure she knows now.
Yes, and most of the young people aren't willing to do that. So I'm impressed.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I always laugh. My oldest was born in the early 90s, and of course, she was big with the boy bands and Britney Spears and all those popular pop groups and nice. So we listened to that stuff all the time when she was growing up. And now those they'll play those songs on the radio or on satellite or something, and I'll be bopping around to them. I'm like, what am I doing? And I was like, I spent years listening to them. I guess it got in there somewhere.
Oh yeah, music's amazing. Music is absolutely a magical thing.
Well, it can take you to a moment in time or back to a moment in time, better than anything else, I think.
That's right.
That's right. Certain songs, sometimes even just certain notes, it can just take you right back. I love that about music.
There have been times when I heard something on the radio, and for that moment, it took me back to that year.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's what, that's part of the reason everybody enjoys some type of music, because it gives you so much, and there's a rhythm to it. I always talk about music and comedy kind of similar in that you got to have the right timing or it doesn't sound right.
Well, I learned from Carl Evans Jr. that he made a statement one time, made perfect sense, which was that music touches people in ways that words alone can't.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, and that's so true.
Yes.
Yeah, there's times where I've had elderly family members that we've had difficulty communicating with them, and we use music, and it kind of brings them back a little bit. They become more present. Now they may be present decades before. They may it may take them back to a time when they were younger, but it was a nice way to connect, with older family members that were struggling a little bit, with some of the memory issues. And music, I'm sure that's used to help people in those situations, because it can really spark the memory.
You are correct. That's used.
Yeah. Is there a musician that you haven't got to play with that you would like to play with?
Oh boy, a lot of
you played with a ton. I know, but
well, yeah, I played with. Well, when I first got into jazz, some of the musicians that I really looked up to and listened to their albums was Freddie Hubbard. I ended up recording with him. He's on one of my albums.
Yeah.
Ernie Watts, who's played with. If you remember the original Tonight Show with Johnny Carson.
Love that show.
Yeah. Johnny Carson. He took care of all the horn arrangements on the Tonight Show band, and he played he was the main player that played with Dave Grusin and Lee Ritenour, and he played a lot on one of my albums, quite a lot actually.
I love that. Yeah, I used to watch Carson. My mother would let me stay up and watch. Used to love that show. It was Doc. Was that the leader of the band back then? Yeah,
that's right, Doc Severinsen.
Doc Severinsen. Yeah. Hey, I used to love those, and you always waited to see if he was going to call him over to the couch. Come on over and talk for a little bit.
Yeah, I often use Doc Severinsen as an example when somebody makes some comment about my stage name, Dr. Dave. I say, well, there's others that are.
That's right. There's others that use that.
I named a few others. There's Doc Powell. There's Dr. John. There's a lot of them that use that. It's fairly
Dr. Dre, for that matter.
And in basketball, there's Dr. J. So
yes.
It's something that's used as a kind of a way of acknowledging some degree of specialty and uniqueness and greatness. And,
yeah, it's like you've advanced in your field. You're an expert at your field.
That's right. And other musicians I played with that I admired a lot were Ronnie Laws and Hubert Laws, his brother, because they, one of the greatest albums I've ever heard was George Benson live at Carnegie Hall, and Hubert Laws played with him in that concert. So I ended up playing with all these guys. So it was a real thrill for me to play with people I idolized. I never thought I'd actually be working with them. And then there's other guys I did a jazz festival. I was on stage with Dave Cause. And there's quite a few, but there's people I would love to play with. I'd love to play with Miles Davis.
Yeah.
I would love to play with a lot of great players.
I know there's so many out there, and we've lost so many, but it's yeah. And I was curious about that. I knew you'd played with a ton, so I didn't know if there was anybody left that you still love to play with or not.
Well, you mentioned people passing away. I had plans of playing with Grover Washington Jr. He was out here doing a concert, and I was chatting with him. Nice guy, very nice man.
Yeah.
And we had an agreement that he was going to be on my next album. But the man died shortly thereafter. You just never know.
No, it's awful.
Yeah. So that just never happened because he passed away.
Yeah, it makes you, it gives you some urgency.
Which it makes you savor every single moment of your life.
The only equivalent I've had with that is I had it set up for Livy Newton-John to come on the podcast. She was recovering from cancer and thought that she was strong enough to do it, and then she passed away right after that, and never did get to come on the show. And that happens a lot with cancer. It seems like just when you start to feel better, like you're past it, then something else gives out because of it. So, well,
that's one of the reasons I say when you're talking with somebody, talk to them as though you'll never see them again, and just savor the moment and appreciate.
Yeah, that's good advice. Yeah, because we've all had those moments where you're like, I should have said something.
And that's another good point. If you really care about somebody, deeply care about someone, let them know.
Well, I told my wife years ago that if something positive popped in my head about whoever it was, I'm telling them. I'm just saying it because why wouldn't you? I can understand censoring yourself if it's a negative comment, but if it's a positive comment, why wouldn't you tell somebody that?
That's right.
Even if it's somebody you didn't know, you listen to something, they do something, you'd be like, that was amazing.
That's right. The worst thing that can happen is you make somebody feel good.
That's right. I think it's a good philosophy to live by, because the response I've gotten back has been much greater than what I've given out. It's been amazing because people respond to that. You say something nice. It doesn't have to be anything flowery, but just a little compliment. People love that.
That's right.
Yeah. So what's Dr. Dave? What's next for the rest of this year? Anything that you're working on? I'm assuming you'll be releasing more music.
Well, right now I'm focused on promoting Reserved for Abby.
Yeah. Which everybody should listen to. It's awesome. Love that song.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm working on right now. And then a lot of this is going to be depending on what Tom Estee tells me. But after he gives me the go ahead that I've got the time to go into the studio, then that's what I'll do, and finish up the rest of this album that Reserved for Abby's on.
Yeah, amazing. Love Tom, and one of the great thing about Thomas is he's persistent. Like he doesn't rest. If there's something he can do to promote one of his people, he does it, and I kind of love that. He's very positive. Yeah. He stays in contact. I think he does a great job.
Yes, and he gets to the point. He doesn't talk.
He doesn't waste time. That's exactly right. Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's like, do this, be there. Then it's like, whoa, okay. Wow.
Well, he does me that way. He'll send stuff over and be like, you need to talk to this person. They're available here. And I'll be like, okay. You say so. But he hasn't steered me wrong yet. He deals with a lot of talented musicians. It's pretty great.
Yeah, people in general.
And people in general. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Well, so Dr. Dave, before we wrap up, and thank you so much for taking a little bit of time with us today, go through your social media, website, where we can find your music if we're looking for it.
Well, it's on Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, whatever you listen to, it's there. Yeah. And you would go into, you would log in Dr. Dave and the Housecall Band, and I Housecall, I use one word, as you can see on this.
That's right.
One word, not two words, which is grammatically incorrect, but it's
yeah, but it looks better, I think.
Yeah, I think so. So Dr. Dave and the Housecall Band, and it'll take you to music on a couple of 2 or 3 different albums. I think 3. And then also my earlier stuff is just under Dr. Dave, and Reserved for Abby is Dr. Dave. So you would go to like Spotify or Pandora, Dr. Dave, Reserved for Abby, and iTunes. I'm on.
Yeah, it showed up for us real easy. We didn't have any trouble. You put in Dr. Dave, and a lot shows up.
Oh, good. That's good to hear. You may have to, on the Dr. Dave, you may have to add the name of the song or the name of the album, like Dr. Dave Love Potion, for example.
Yeah.
But Dr. Dave and the Housecall Band, you just enter that. You can put Midnight Daydream or Carefree Revisited, but I don't think it's necessary. You'll see a lot of it.
No, it comes up. Yeah, exactly right. Well, sir, open invitation. Whenever you got the next thing, just you or Thomas reach out. We'll do this again. This has been terrific.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun. It was very nice meeting you.
Oh, it's so nice meeting you, sir. I hope at some point you do some live stuff. We'll try to come out.
I'd love that.
Now I've given you a reason. Be like, I got to do a show. That guy from the podcast wants to come.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been very nice. I've enjoyed this.
Well, I'm glad. Okay, hold on one second. Dr. Dave, if you are a jazz fan, Dave is terrific. So talented. I really enjoyed him. I remember listening to him when I was in college, and we had I had 3 roommates, 3 other guys I was living with, and we had a CD player sitting in the living room of our shared apartment, and whoever went through would just put in a different CD. So there was music just playing all the time. And I don't think it was me, but one of my roommates put in some of Dave's work, some of his music, and I just fell in love with it. I absolutely thought it was terrific. So when his publicist sent over, Dave to come on the show, I was like, I know Dr. Dave. I would gladly talk to him. And I'm sure most of you have heard some of his music as well. So definitely, if you haven't, go check it out. The new song is Reserved for Abby. It's terrific. Absolutely love it. And then I would suggest you go back to Midnight Daydream. It's an album, very horn heavy, and it's got Sexy Cindy on there. It's got the hey, 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 that. It's terrific. I think you'll absolutely enjoy that. So Dr. Dave. Make sure you check that out. If you're finding us for the first time, so happy that you're here. Love to have your support. It's easy to do. It's free. Our website is meistercon.com. You can find, we're going to hit episode 1000 in early July, possibly late this month, but probably early July. You can find all those audio and video versions on the website, meistercon.com. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Please subscribe. If you go check us out there, it's free. Those subscriptions really help us out. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody.